Check out thechosenprime.com in the link in the description below for this and other great items.
Alright everyone, welcome to another RFC Reviews. I'm your host Diecast, and today we have TW-M07, and I'm sure the M stands for Minibot, SpaceRacer from ToyWorld, hence the TW. But here you have the packaging of ToyWorld. You have that nice G1 arc in the background, some warnings, ToyWorld up top, nothing on the sides, just ToyWorld on the one side, and on the bottom is a wraparound of the arc. So again, I do want to give them props on their packaging. I really do like the packaging. It's very premium with this really nice styrofoam packaging, and you can see my box is a little banged up, but it did not affect the figure at all thanks to the really nice packaging. Take a quick look at what he comes with. He first comes with his collector's card with the same type of artwork that was on the box, and your tech specs in this weird circle thing that they do. And then you also have your instructions with that same piece of art. And the instructions were okay. There's not a lot of steps to this guy. It's a really simple transformation. Here's some of their other upcoming figures. Just a really simple transformation, and here he is. And mine came with this extra base. I don't know if everyone will get that or if that's just the first run. I think that's what they've been doing. Get into articulation right off the bat and paint. This is one thing that really bothers me about this figure, is you think his head would be red plastic with gold paint. No, it's actually green plastic, because up here there's a dial to spin his eyes, and it's very tight. And see, I can't even get it to spin right now. I may not be able to show off the eye gimmick just because I'm afraid to chip it any more than it already is, because I already got a pretty nice chip on the top of the head, which is how you can discover that that is actually green plastic, just by trying to turn the eyes to see the other set of eyes. And then also at the same time it scratched the faceplate right there, which you can also tell is green plastic. So I don't know why they didn't do all this all in red, and maybe in red plastic, and maybe that's why this is having... there we go. Whatever you do, don't grab it with your nails. See, now I got it stuck. His eyes are kind of... That's actually how it came in the box, too. His eyes were kind of like that. Let me just try and spin it. And sometimes you can spin his head, and it'll move the eyes around. See, just by spinning his head. So I got him back to the normal eyes, or almost back to the normal eyes. But this head is just super frustrating. The other thing that's frustrating on this is there's no like lock points for the arms. They can go in and out. The only thing that they're stopping on is the hips right here. So if you have the hips to the side a little bit more, you can rotate this all the way through. Maybe that's how they meant it. Maybe I'm just being picky. But the other problem is there's a little notch right here on the arm, and that's actually supposed to be what keeps this in place when you're using the arm, so it doesn't spin at this joint. It only spins up at the shoulder, and it will move on you because that's just not a good enough notch to hold it. The other one is the other side's even worse. And I just popped it off the ball joint, but you can see that little nub right there is supposed to hold this in place. And it just, and the back side of it, you can see, has a slot anyway, so it can't really hold it that well. I don't really know what they were going for there. So that's not ideal. It does have good, you know, he can hold his hand up fairly well, so the tolerance is good on this ball joint right there. He can only do about 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. These guns are another thing that really frustrate me. There's no reason that they can't rotate right here and flip inside there if you don't want to have them out. That is lazy. Very, very lazy. There's nothing on this guy that really tabs in anywhere. As you can see, his leg kind of collapsed. You do get full motion on the legs because of these joints right here. It's on a universal. You can go out all the way. You can go forward all the way. If you want to go backwards, you have to take this little piece off, this little parts forming piece, and then you can get his leg all the way backwards as well. Or almost all the way backwards. So not bad as far as leg articulation right there. Again, he does have a waist swivel, and it does kind of get caught up on some of this stuff on the bottom, which we'll see when we go into transformation what that's for. Knee, you can get 90 degrees on the knee. This foot piece, this back piece, does not tab in at all. It just rests there due to friction. I really hate this gap. I wish this would have condensed down. Even if he was a little bit shorter, I think it would have been okay. You do get some in and out. You also do get some forwards or backwards, but nothing really forward just due to the sculpt. You do get a little bit of forward that way. It's just okay. Someone's telling me he has a gimmick that he can be smaller. I guess you could do that if you want. Here he is with Bad Cube's gears. If you just want to see a comparison to them. Here he is standing up, which I guess is an okay size for him. He's a little bit out of scale, probably a little bit too bulky for what he's supposed to be, but again, you know, you could tell me I'm totally wrong. I was really hoping with this figure that I was going to get something that was up to the level of the ToyWorld Seekers, because I was really done with buying ToyWorld stuff. I just wasn't happy with their designs or the quality. I knew from the photos the designs weren't the best on this guy, but I was willing to try it because I really wanted to like this figure. And I could have dealt with the leg gap. I could have dealt with that. The head and the paint chipping off is just really annoying. The eye spin gimmick that doesn't work, and half the time you can't get his eyes back where there should be. That just drives me crazy. And I'm really not a big fan of the head sculpt. I know X-Transbots has one coming out, and I really like the look of theirs better compared to this. But X-Transbots is also one of those companies where you never know what you're going to get, because life is like a box of chocolates. But yeah, I just did not know what to do. And since he came out first, I figured I'd give him a try and give ToyWorld another chance. And for me, it was a mistake. So I think I covered all the articulation. You do have wrist swivels here. He doesn't come with a weapon, which is like kind of... You couldn't throw a weapon in with this guy? I mean, that is just really, really lazy to me as well. He should have had some sort of weapon. And his hands kind of hit these guns when you rotate them, which, again, is annoying, and they'll untab the inside of the arms. Other than that, take a look at his back real quick. You do have this parts forming piece, which we'll go into. Actually, we'll take that off right now just for transformation. And just because I know a lot of people don't have third-party stuff, let me put him next to Masterpiece Sideswipe, just for a comparison of the two. And here he is with a Titans Return Deluxe figure. So he is roughly, if you stand him up straight, he is roughly deluxe sized. So maybe a tad smaller than deluxe sized, but definitely a lot beefier. This is all metal. This whole center section is metal. So go in the transformation. This is real easy. We're just going to open up his wrist panels, flip in his hands, close that back up. Then you're going to compress the arm. Do the same thing on the other side. Open up the forearms, flip the hand in, close that up, compress the arms. And you do see there is a tab right there that will kind of tab in, and we'll get into that in a minute. What I like to do is rotate the head around before I press that down, just because at the front you can still see this sculpt up here and the eyes just a tad. So I prefer to turn the head around. Just looks a little bit better. You can bring this back section down, and then in here there's these two little bits. There's like gap fillers that can flip up. We'll leave that up just like that for a second. And then his crotch sometimes flips up. Just flip that down. And then these two little pieces in here, there is a tab that you can get to flip these out. Just like that. And there you have some more filler panels. And you just want to push the whole waist back. It'll go back that far. And then these legs, just want to collapse them. These panels on the heels of the feet, they just come out. And then you just want to start tabbing everything together. And you can see on the bottom that there's tabs and slots that line up with each other. And again, not great because these are all on separate pieces, but you get the gist. And then you just lay him down. Take the legs forward. Take this piece back. Just like that. Make sure those filler pieces stay where they're supposed to. You can tab these all in. And actually, I forgot a step. Because of the waist being in the way, before you bring all that down, you want to rotate these arms down. And now we can close all this up. And then we're going to take these arms and the head's in the way. And then you just want to, they will angle like this. and they only tab in right there, and is a really frustrating thing because it doesn't really want to line up. That was my fault. That's not the toy's fault. I think it knows I don't like it. But anyway, you rotate this down and back, and then this will swing around, and then you just gotta make sure everything tabs together like you want, and that filler piece flipped in, which is just lovely. You could always do that back piece last. That might help. But as you can see, it doesn't really like to stay tabbed together 100%. The arms tend to want to come apart, and it takes a lot of fiddling and playing with to get it. And I haven't even been able to get it perfect. That's normally how I'm able to... That's the best I can get. And that just... It's just lazy design. Really lazy. I do like the guns that come out up front here. That's really cool. Really like that. I just don't like how this thing gaps. I'm not too crazy about the thrusters on the back. I mean, you know, I'm fine that they're there. I wish this would have been totally round. It's just... The head will move around. It doesn't lock in. It's not great. And then you have this piece. Place it down, it'll lean forward just because of these bumps here. So he's not good to pose just sitting down. He does have this additional parts forming bit that plugs onto the back, which will straighten him out if you're sitting him down, or if you want to put him on a peg like this, he will peg in so you can have posing. You can pose him on this orange piece of plastic that comes with him if you pre-order or if you have more. But yeah, that is Cosmos in a nutshell, or SpaceRacer. And yeah, I do not recommend him. I would definitely wait for the X-Trans bots, because I think at this point you can't do worse than this. It's just not a great bot. It's not good in vehicle mode. It doesn't tab in well. It doesn't want to stay in its vehicle mode properly. And it's just... Yeah, I mean, that hinge is exactly how it should be. And it still does not want to stay tabbed in at the top. So, yeah, really, really not good. It does not stay tabbed in very well. So, if you can wait for the X-Trans Bots one, or another company to do this, I would wait. I would love a Bad Cube one. I would also love a Fans Toys one. I'm not crazy about the X-Trans bots, but I think it looks a lot better. And I think it can't be as lazy of a design as this, because this feels rushed. It feels like an intern designed this. If we were talking Hasbro, we'd be like, you know, who over to Takara, you know, that's brand new, designed this thing, because it is junk. It feels really nice, has really nice weight to it, but do not buy it. Unless you really, really want to, I would stay far, far away from this. As always, thank you guys for watching, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up down at the channel if you like the video. If you don't like the video, tell me why in the comments, and we'll see you next time.